In recent years, farming games have become one of the more prevalent and beloved genres in gaming. For some reason we absolutely love going outside and gardening, so long as we can do it from the comfort of our own rooms using a mouse and keyboard. Each year, more and more of these things keep coming out, often from indie studios, which is really cool, and while some might be a bit less interesting and unique, there are honestly a load of great ones out there. One of the most well-known farming games is a game called Harvest Moon, which actually later inspired this dude to make Stardew Valley and become a multi-millionaire. And at this point in time, the genre has become, well, pretty damn saturated to say the least. I mean, just look at the latest Nintendo Direct.
20 years, a beloved farming experience is reborn to your new fairy tale life in Fae Farm. The locals cultivate crops and care as you cultivate a peaceful farm life in the village of Lethe.
Man, I just wanted to see a trailer for the Mario movie. Of course, not all of these games are going to be amazing and unforgettable experiences. They really don't have to be. People absolutely love this type of game, and so long as it ticks the right boxes, it'll be a hit in the farming game community. So why is this? Why do these games do so well? Why do we love farming games? Well, the answer to that will differ depending on who you ask, but I think I've narrowed it down to a few main factors. One of these being that the gameplay and general vibe of these games tends to be super laid back and relaxing. And let's be honest, there is a stark contrast between this and this. Multiverses, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Valorant, God of War, none of these games will ever appeal to a certain sizable chunk of gamers, because they just simply don't enjoy that fast-paced, action-packed style of gameplay. The market for relaxing games is huge, just look at how well Animal Crossing did, and that was competing with friggin' Doom, which goes to show that these are pretty much completely different communities of gamers. The experience that laid-back farming games give you tends to be much more of a sit back and crack open a can after a long day than any fast-paced or story-intensive game might be. This relaxing vibe also has a major appeal to the casual market, the gamers that might pick up a game every once in a while but wouldn't consider themselves hardcore gamers. Not to say that these games are only for casuals, I myself have a couple of hundred hours on Stardew, but they're perfect for picking up and putting down for longer periods of time. No muscle memory is needed, and there are a bunch of wiki pages for anything you might need a refresher course on. Give a casual game a Valorant and they'll probably frown. Give them Stardew Valley and they'll question who you are, why you're in their house, and why you keep offering them video games. The second and probably main aspect of farming games that make them stand out is the fantastic amount of escapism that they bring. Whether you're playing one of the yearly farming simulator games with a succeeding number trailing behind, or a farming RPG like Littlewood, you're escaping into these different worlds. When I play something like League of Legends, I don't get immersed in that world or the characters, because it's just not an immersive experience, it's a competitive one. But when I play through Stardew, I get so invested into the lives of the characters, any story elements, how my crops are doing, what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, where I'm putting my buildings, and suddenly I've been sitting in the dark playing this game for 4 hours straight. Farming games don't innately need you to have story, some just let you make up your own story and farm to your heart's content, but many actually end up being within the RPG genre. While the gameplay is still based around farming, it's not the only thing you can do. Littlewood is classed as a farming game, but a lot of the time you'll be spending your days chopping wood, hitting rocks, using the workstations, fishing, completing quests, or playing Pokemon, I guess. But there is a bunch of farming stuff to be getting on with, different crops, animal products, tree fruits. Fuck, I'd even consider the flower breeding part of the farming. And honestly, unless your entire game is meant to be a farming simulator, although I think these guys have gotten that on lockdown by now, this is the best way to handle farming games in my eyes. It gives you so much to do other than only focus on crops, while also having a variety of farm-based things for you to do. Waiting for stuff to grow? Well, look at you, go into the forest, play some card games, meet some weirdos in your town, I don't know. The other game to really nail this escapism aspect is of course Stardew Valley. The cream of the crop, you might say, in terms of farming games. You could just ignore everything and base your entire experience around your farm and the stuff you want to grow. But at the same time, you kinda have the option to just say balls to this, I need a break, and neglect the farm completely. What really makes this game such a shining example of farming games is how it merges its big focus on farming with absolutely everything else. The NPCs are a fantastic and immersive part of this game, each of their storylines are worth playing for, and the cutscenes are just charming. But this doesn't take away from the farming elements by any means. Each villager has different gifts that they like, and you'll be able to harvest something for everyone on your own farm. For anything like mining, fishing, or woodcutting, you'll be able to grow your own food to sustain your energy. And one of the best features for any completionist, the community centre, will have loads of bundles that can be completed using your farm. Stardew Valley is a game that I've come back to multiple times now. If not for the brilliant farming elements, or the mines, or the community centre, then for its characters. Some seem cold and pissy about life at first, but then you start getting to know them and help with their demons. Some are kind yet quiet when you initially get to know them, and then you realise that they live with a raging alcoholic called Pam. Some are just bastards from start to finish, but hey, not everyone's going to be a winner. The world of Stardew is one that you can, and probably will, get super immersed in. Its fleshed out map, its fun characters, and of course its fantastic farming elements. Ugh, what a game. Farming games tend to come with a sense of starting from nothing. Forager, which has a lot of farming elements but is debatably not a true farming game, starts you on a single tile that you have to eventually keep expanding. Littlewood starts you in an empty town that you have to populate. Stardew starts you in your grandpa's old farm that is completely overrun with random shit that you have to clear up. This sense of progression is seen in basically all farming games. As you unlock new stuff to play with and expand the world around you, you'll get this feeling of accomplishment. Each new area you unlock will give you new opportunities, each crop you sell gives you more money to spend on new items, and each character you find expands your world. While everything might be fun in itself, this progression stops the game from becoming stale or boring, giving you new things to mess around with as you go to keep things interesting. The whole coming from nothing aspect definitely gives everything a humble beginnings vibe, and when you eventually have stupidly advanced stuff, you're just bursting with this pride and accomplishment. While the farming genre is becoming more and more saturated as each new one comes out in hopes to be the next big thing, there is definitely a reason as to why they're so popular. The experience that they offer is a lot different to most games, and honestly, even the farming RPGs are miles apart from the other RPG games. Be it Farming Simulator or Stardew Valley, these games aren't going anywhere anytime soon.